In this video, we're going to talk about another absolute value inequality problem. Example 2 says the area A of in square inches of a square photo is required to satisfy this. 8.5 is less than or equal to A, which is less than or equal to 8.9. Write this requirement as an absolute value inequality. Let's get an idea of what we're talking about here. We've got a square photo, okay? It looks kind of like this. And, let's say that there's a company that produces square photos. But the photos have to be a certain size. They have to be between 8.5 square inches and 8.9 square inches. If they're bigger than 8.9, they're not going to fit into a certain frame, say, or they're not, the customer isn't going to be happy. But the problem is if they're too little, maybe they're less than 8.9 or 8.5 square inches, well, the customer is not going to be happy there either. Okay, so really what we need to find is what will the customer be happy with? And that is where tolerance comes into play, and also writing a requirement, because customers usually need requirements, or the customer gives the requirement to the person who makes that thing. And in this case, the thing is a photo. Okay? So we're going to represent the requirement as an absolute value inequality right here. So we know the steps to do this. What I encourage you to do is try to come up with that absolute value inequality all by yourself. So you can pause the video, give it a go, and then I'm going to demonstrate how to do it. The first step we're going to do is we're going to find the tolerance. So the tolerance, we know, is equal to the max value minus the minimum value divided by 2. And that's just 8.9 minus 8.5 divided by 2, which equals 0.4 divided by 2, or 0.2. So if you got the tolerance to be 0.2, and 0.2 is square inches, by the way. If you got that, good job. If not, why don't you go back and, again, try to plug in the numbers. We have a maximum of 8.9 and a minimum of 8.5 square inches. Those need to be put into the tolerance formula. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to find the average of the maximum and minimum. The average of the maximum min and minimum, it's not the average of the max divided by the min, it's just the average of the max min, is going to equal the maximum plus the minimum. That's 8.9 plus 8.5 divided by 2, and that's just 8.7. So that's 8.7 square inches. So what I want you to think of is the square photo. The average size is going to be 8.7 square inches. Square inches, okay? Can also write it as inches squared. That's going to be the average size. All right, moving a little bit forward here, we are also going to talk about let's see, again, this was 8.7 is the average. We're also going to talk about the inequality equation that we can write. We're going to write it like this. The photo that the customer is getting minus the average size of the photo that we want, the average of that range that we have there, is going to be between, well, it's going to be negative 0.2 is going to be less than or equal to the difference between A and 8.7 and 0.2. Okay, so basically we have a negative tolerance on one side and a positive tolerance on the other. That's what's kind of how you write that inequality. What I want you to imagine is that the photo can be smaller than the average, okay? It can be smaller by negative 0.2 square inches, or it can be larger than the average. I'm drawing this green box because that's increasing the square inches of the square photo by 0.2. So really the range that we're looking at, or the acceptance of the photos can be these sizes here. Anywhere you see that, it's almost like it looks like a picture frame here. But this picture frame sort of represents any size of that photo that it can be. It can be around the average size, or it can be more towards the green size, or it could be smaller and more towards that light blue size. Okay? So that's what we're looking at here. If the photo is any smaller, it'll get rejected. Okay? If the photo is too big, if it's bigger than the green box, it'll get rejected too. So that's what we talk about when we talk about tolerance, and we talk about these requirements for the customer, okay? And the last thing we're going to talk about is actually the thing that we really want, which is that absolute value inequality. Okay, when we talk about the absolute value, we talk about the difference between the size of the actual picture and the average size, and we know that that has got to be less than or equal to the tolerance, which is 0.2. So this is our absolute value inequality. We got all the parts. We got the absolute value sign. We've got the inequality sign. This is it right here. So I hope you enjoyed this video and it made a little bit of sense. As a manufacturing engineer, I worked with tolerances all the time. So they're so important for manufacturing companies. You basically want to make sure that the thing that you're making, it satisfies the requirements of the customer. And our customer can't have the photos below 8.5 square inches, or it can't be bigger than 8.9 square inches. And we can represent that as an equation that looks like this, which is something we would have in specifications, documents from the customer. So this is real world stuff here, guys.